sisters and brothers of the Hawaii State Teachers Association, it is my pleasure to welcome back one last time for you, your NEA President, Lily Eskelsen Garcia. Aloha, Lily.
Aloha. Oh, Osa, thank you for that. I want to thank Corey and Logan. Thank you all for this invitation and for all the frequent flyer miles that Corey promised that Zoom would give me for being on this call. I know he wasn't making that up. He would never do that, right? And I want to thank all of you who are on this call. I know you have a lot to do as activists in our union and your communities, but I also know what you're having to do for your students every day in your day jobs, and that you're trying to reach them and give them something meaningful that they can do spending these days. I get asked about that a lot. I am doing a lot of press. Every reporter wants to know how things are going at school. And I got one call from a reporter who said, did I have any advice for parents in lockdown who were trying to keep kids busy until they could go back to school? And Corey, I do want you to know that I think we should have these parents be our bargaining chairs next year. We will make sure and get big raises because they will be there fighting for us. What they can't do with 2 kids, we do every day with 32 kids, and now they understand. But here was this reporter asking me for things like tips on, like recipes that they could all make in the kitchen, or board games, or the best of Netflix. The Good Place, that's the best of Netflix. You want to try that one. And I said, I'm going in a different direction here. And I told her about one of our teachers. A lot of folks, I've accidentally given my cell phone to a lot of people, and they're calling me, they're emailing me, sometimes a text, and they're bragging about everything they're doing. They're bragging about their colleagues. They're talking about putting together homework packets for kids that don't have the internet, bus drivers that are still driving their routes, and this time they're delivering lunches and schoolwork. And she was telling me about learning something in a Zoom class and giggling about something funny that a kid said on a video class. And then all of a sudden she started crying. She just burst into tears. And she apologized. Oh, Lily, I'm so sorry. I don't know where that's coming from. And then she just started talking, and she said, in my classroom, I was so sure about what I did. I'm like magic. I've got those kids, and now I'm not sure what I'm doing anymore. I'm not sure if I'm doing this all wrong. What if I'm doing it wrong? And I should be doing more. I could be doing more. And I'm so tired. And she caught me right after I had been on a Fox News interview. And on Fox News, I got tears in my eyes, and I started blubbering, and it's not just because it was Fox News. This reporter was asking about plans for kids and what are we going to do with kids that are falling behind. And I got tears in my eyes because I said, reading, writing, and arithmetic, we're professionals. We're worried about our kids losing ground. You bet we are, but we do that. That's what we do. We will figure that one out. But getting them caught up on page 42 is probably going to be the least of our problems, because our kids are experiencing trauma right now. And so am I. And so are you. I told that reporter, so are you, all of us. Because uncertainty, fear, the world is not a safe place. We're not in control of the things we thought we were in control of. And when our schools are safe enough to open and get kids back together with the adults that love them, when we come back together, we're going to need time to heal. And so I told the reporter, I said, my advice to parents, my advice to our students, my advice to my colleagues, my advice to you is don't apologize. Don't apologize, not for tears, not for what you feel. Feel what you feel. We are experiencing something horrible, and we have experienced some pretty horrible things before. Mass shootings, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes. No one in the whole wide world has experienced what the whole wide world is experiencing right now. There is a dangerous, invisible virus out there. It's easily contracted. There is no cure. There is no vaccine. And there's only one thing that the medical folks can tell us to do. Try not to contaminate each other. Stay away from each other. Self-isolate. I'm now over 2 months here in Juarez, Mexico, where my husband lives. And there have been tears. We have snapped at each other, only when he deserved it. But there have been times I've been so tired. The alarm goes off and I can't get my eyes open. Stress shows itself in a lot of ways. And it's stressful to sustain those long periods of fear and uncertainty. These virtual meetings that you're taking the time to be on now, hundreds and hundreds of you on this call, it's a different kind of energy you get when you're looking at the Zoom pictures. I get energy from giving people a hug and saying, how's it going? And what's going on where you live? And I'm feeling a little starved right now. And for some folks, for big people and little people, this is the first time we've ever experienced this. Not for all our kids, unfortunately, but for an awful lot of us. And it comes out in sadness and tears and anger and anxiety and even depression. And we feel like, yeah, but we're super dupers. We're the teachers and the support staff. Any person will feel this, and you and I won't be any different. There is a little something that makes us different, and it's the support we have and how to handle it, because we know our work is so important. We are full of ourselves. We know we have the most important work in the world. Our work is to love someone else's child, and so we are activists. We have each other. It's why folks are calling me and telling me what they're excited about. And this is nothing any of us would have ever chosen. But when we see a problem, we can't help but collaborate and put our heads together and solve that problem. And what I see is like a miracle. It's the teachers and the bus drivers and the lunch ladies and the custodians and the principals and the counselors. And we're finding ways to show up for our kids. We're finding ways to show up for each other. And if you had asked me a month ago, 2 months ago, how long will it take to have 3 million educators in America shut down public schools and then teach 52 million school kids instead of in a classroom in 52 million kitchen tables across the country? I would have said, oh, easy, that's 1,000 years. That you can't do that. You can't do that overnight. You did that overnight. You did that, not because you wanted to, but because your kids needed you. And you try something and it doesn't work. So you say no more of that. You try something else until it does work. All the while, you're going through your own trauma. You are amazing. And the medical community, the nurses, the doctors, the hospital technicians, they will be given in every main street in this country a ticker tape parade when this is all over. When the war is over, they are the frontline soldiers. They are putting their lives on the line every day. And we honor their service. But educators, you are keeping the home fires burning. You are making life hopeful for all of those families that would be so fearful without you. You are giving them something meaningful to learn, to think about. Now, I am not an infectious disease medical professional, but I know this. I know that the day will come when we will be through this, when we'll emerge into the sunlight, and when the medical community, not a politician, when competent medical professionals say it's safe to return to those buildings where we work, nothing, trust me, nothing will be the same. At least that's my hope. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to the way things were, where some kids had what they needed and some kids never did, where some educators were given what they needed and some educators had to buy what they needed for their kids out of their own pockets. We always could look at that school and see what our kids needed. Did they have it in that school? Yes or no? But now we know that it matters what they have in their homes. We need to care about the whole child in so many more ways now. And the press is still focused on what day are we going to open the building? What day will school start again? And they don't get it. We all want schools to open again. We want the building to be open again, but only when it's safe. And we will demand the village of educators be there to welcome those kids. We want the teachers, the support professionals, the school nurse, the counselors, the school psychologists. We want them all to be there ready to serve the children who need them. And so we need Congress right now, the Senate, to send us the same kind of help that they sent all those businesses who were going to have to lay off workers. They said, we can't have that. We need you to contact your senators today, because in their lap, the House has just passed the HEROES Act. Tell them to pass the HEROES Act. You go to NEA.org/COVID action. COVID, we need action on this COVID thing. And when it passes, billions of dollars will be sent to schools, to the schools that our kids need. We need them to send us the funding that will bridge us to when Hawaii opens its tourist seasons again. Because right now, you know that funding has fallen off a cliff. We have to have help from the federal government, and your action will help us get there. That money will save your jobs so that you'll be there when schools open with your voice and millions of members and millions of parents and the public that has a newfound appreciation for us. We can move Congress to act so that our school buildings can open again when it's safe. But here's what I'll leave you with. The building never was who we are. Who we are, we carry inside of us. That virus did not stop us from being who we are. We are people who love someone else's child. And we carry that inside of us, whether we walk into a school building or a union office or march in a rally, and no one and nothing can stop us from being who we are. Not a hurricane, not a tornado, not a damn virus. Who you are brought you into this space this morning when you could have been doing a million things in beautiful Hawaii. You're going to lift up your voice. You're going to lift up your love. And I want to thank you, Corey. I want to thank you and your amazing team for what you do, not just for Hawaii, but for the example that you set across our nation, for your members, your students, your communities. Thank you for keeping the lights on in this dark time. And as I come to the end of my term, it may be the last time I have to tell you that I love you all so much. I love who we are. And it has been the honor of my life to be the smallest part of us. Stay safe, be well. Nos vemos muy pronto. I hope we'll see each other soon. Aloha.